In June 2011, 24-year-old law student Lauren Giddings vanished from her apartment in Macon, Georgia. Her next-door neighbor, a fellow law student named Stephen McDaniel, stood outside their complex to speak with local reporters. He presented himself as a concerned friend, earnestly answering questions and offering to help her. But mid-interview, the reporter mentions police have just discovered a body in the nearby trash cans. The blood physically drains from his face. He stammers, his breathing hitches, and tells the reporter, "I think I need to sit down." Investigators look for moments exactly like this, when a suspect has carefully constructed a false reality. Introducing a sudden, unexpected piece of evidence can trigger an involuntary physiological reaction. Their body panics before their brain can formulate a lie. While Stephen played the harmless, helpful neighbor on camera, Lauren's friends knew a different story. In the weeks prior, Lauren confided that she felt a creeping sense of dread. She suspected someone had been sneaking into her apartment while she was out. That on-camera panic stripped away his mask of a helpful bystander. He was now the prime suspect, and the investigation moved from the streets into the claustrophobic confines of a police interrogation room. Inside the room, detectives start with standard, low-pressure questions. Stephen talks somewhat normally about his background in law school and his hidden stash of weaponry, including a semi-automatic AK-style rifle he keeps in his apartment. Law enforcement uses this casual conversation to establish a baseline behavior. They are calibrating how the suspect speaks, their posture, and their eye contact when they are telling the truth and under zero stress. Once that baseline is set, detectives apply pressure. This exploits a concept called cognitive load. Maintaining a false timeline and computing complex lies requires immense mental processing power. When interrogators suddenly demand specific, high-stakes details, the brain struggles to keep up. The moment Stephen realizes he is trapped, his physical demeanor radically shifts. He drops the helpful neighbor act. His posture goes entirely rigid. He fixes his gaze in a dead stare, and his entire vocabulary shrinks to just yes, no, or I don't know. This catatonic state is a calculated, defensive strategy. As a law student, Stephen believes that providing zero emotional or verbal feedback creates a dead end for interrogators. Detectives throw everything they have at this silent wall. They close the physical distance, getting right into his face to increase psychological pressure. When that fails, they hurl aggressive insults, calling him a piece of trash, trying to provoke any kind of emotional reaction to crack his facade. But while Stephen successfully stonewalled the officers in the room, forensic investigators were actively dismantling his defense elsewhere. They had extracted his digital footprint from his personal computer. This line chart visualizes Stephen's internet search history over a specific timeline. It tracks a steady, upward creep of abstract, violent, pornographic searches. Over time, that constant exposure built a tolerance, and the data shows a sudden spike into the red zone as his digital obsession sought out real-world application. The FBI recovered his exact search queries. Among the data points, they found him specifically typing in variations of the phrase, "how to molest a sleeping girl." His digital plotting translated into physical stalking. Stephen had stolen a master key from the apartment complex security. He let himself into Lauren's apartment on multiple occasions, studying her routine and recording covert videos of her coming and going. Inside the interrogation room, Stephen maintained his frozen, silent performance. But that silence was entirely neutralized by the loud, undeniable reality of his search history. The data exposed the active predator hiding beneath the catatonic shell. Running out of options, the lead detective pivots to the futility technique. He abandons the aggression, offering fake sympathy and a socially acceptable excuse for the crime. He tells Stephen he knows he isn't a monster, hoping to coax a confession out of a false sense of understanding. The strategy fails completely. Stephen maintains his zombie-like disposition for the entire 2-hour interview. On the surface, it appears he has won the psychological standoff against the police. However, a confession was completely unnecessary. Investigators recovered the exact metal hacksaw used to dismember Lauren's body, and inside Stephen's apartment, they found the specific cardboard packaging that matched that exact saw. Fast forward 7 years to 2018. Stephen's legal hubris reemerges. Representing himself in court, He files a petition for a new trial, arguing his constitutional rights were violated during the original investigation. Judge John Flythe swiftly rejected the petition. He found absolutely no evidence to support the claims, permanently sealing Stephen's sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Stephen McDaniel believed his intellect and psychological endurance could manufacture the perfect crime. He thought he could simply stay quiet and outsmart the system. But his case proves that no amount of silence can ever outspeak the objective truth of modern forensics.